Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another homemade hiking meal recipe, continuing in the soups and stews series. We're doing chicken noodle soup. Please click like and subscribe to join my hiking family. Being a chicken noodle soup, of course, we got to start with chicken, and we're going back to the Mountain House freeze-dried diced chicken. And for that, we're going to go with 20 grams as usual. And here's another handy-dandy use of my food saver. Whenever I open that can, I vacuum seal the remainders so that I can make sure that it stays fresh and dry. That's the biggest thing. So 20 grams of chicken. It's coming down to the end of this can, so we may be trying a new chicken brand soon because I've had some viewers suggest different brands to me. So I might try those out to see if maybe they can be more cost effective. So again, we start with our cut down food saver bag, and in it goes. Next, something you'll have seen if you've been around for a while. It's the first thing I found for noodles when I went to go keto, and they're extremely keto friendly noodles, and they add a little bit of texture and they stay pretty al dente, which is why they got the name Al Dente Pasta Company Carbonara Noodles. And as usual, we're going to measure out 28 grams of the noodles. Now it's half of the recommended serving, but I did that to save 12 net carbs. So it's up to you if you want to add more noodles, you can. Sometimes the scale doesn't act properly. There we go, 28 grams. Now, we're not just going to dump this straight into here. We're going to break them up as we put them in to help make sure that they sit a little better and reduce the chances of perforating the bag. And I'm not going to make you sit here and watch it. We'll wait till the end of the step. So there you go, 28 grams of noodles broken up into more bite-sized pieces, because if you've been around for a little while, you're starting to realize I spoon my meals. If you've watched the Ace's Camp Cooking System, you'll remember I use a spork, and that is all I carry with me now. So the smaller noodles make for friendlier sporking. That sounds a little weird, but okay. Now we start building the mirepoix, which is also called the Trinity. And for that, we're going to start with Mother Earth Products dried carrots. And we're going to do 1 tablespoon of those. Now, these are fairly high in carbs, so if you really want to go super keto, you could reduce the amount of carrots, and it won't really cost you anything. But I personally like the flavor they bring, and a little bit of the tooth and texture they bring as well. Then we go on and we do the Mother Earth Products dried onions. And 1 teaspoon of the onions. Finishing out the Trinity comes a new ingredient from Mother Earth Products. A viewer had left me a comment saying that this ingredient tasted really salty. And that got me thinking that sometimes you want a little bit of salt, or at least a little bit more salty flavor in your recipe. And if you've been around for a while, you'll notice I don't put any salt in mine. I'm looking at the sodium content in the ingredients. Because I'm very sodium conscious after starting to hike with a stroke survivor. So I started looking into it and I said, alright, this ingredient, it makes sense. Because when they don't add chemical nitrites to different sausages and cured meats, they will sometimes add salt from this vegetable. And what it is it's Mother Earth Products freeze-dried celery. It does add a little bit of a salty flavor, very subtle, but it also adds a good depth of flavor that any chicken soup would be lacking without. And we do a tablespoon of this. And this equates to about 4 grams, so it's still pretty negligible with the carb count, but it does bring fiber and trace nutrients and a lot of flavor. And of course, if you've been around a while, you'll know that I love my garlic. So next comes the Mother Earth Products sliced garlic. And as usual, I don't really measure these out. I just grab a few, do 6 or 8 pieces. I like the flavor it brings, and I like the little extra punch because it actually hydrates to raw garlic consistency, so it has a little bit of that burn to it. Now we're going to build the broth, starting with an ingredient that my viewer Mike told me about. Thanks again, Mike. It's Lano Life low sodium chicken broth. And we're going to do half a tablespoon of that. Yeah, if you have seen some of my other recipes with the dried chicken broth, I actually do far prefer this over the Herbox chicken bouillon because it actually has a much richer, more natural chicken flavor. Lano Life. And of course, to add some more depth of flavor and that additional protection on the trail, comes an ingredient you know I love. It's my garlic powder. And half a teaspoon of that. Holy moly. You can tell this is one of my favorite ingredients because I am getting low. Wow. Let's see if we can do this without making a mess. Not too bad. Next, we're going to add some Italian seasoning. And we're going to do half a teaspoon of that as well. When the recipe has more mild flavors, too much Italian seasoning can be overpowering. If it's a lot bolder, you can use a lot more of it, but chicken soup, half teaspoon, seem to work out pretty well. Then to add a little bit more fat to the meal, as well as some other trace nutrients, we're going again with the Pahe powdered avocado. And 1 teaspoon. I usually like more avocado in some of my recipes, just for the nutrient content, but the milder flavors of the chicken soup, it tended to be a little overpowering and almost kind of clouded the flavor. So I just added that for a little more fat and a little more nutrition. Then to add some brightness and to counter some of the dullness that the avocado can bring, we're going to add some white wine powder. And 1 teaspoon. This really brightens up the flavor, like I said. It goes a long way, and it really doesn't carry any caloric or carb properties. So it adds the flavor, adds the richness without the side effects or the drawbacks. So back to the handy dandy food saver, and there. Switch it to operate and hit the vacuum and seal button, and you can see it sucking all the air out, and it is breaking up those noodles the rest of the way, which is another reason reason we break it up, because if the noodles are too big and going off in too weird a direction, it could perforate the bag. Which is no big deal if it does. You can just re-vacuum seal it, throw it in another bag, and you'll be fine. And as always, a second seal just to make sure that we're good on our seal here. Yeah, it's still popping the noodles. And here we go. Another homemade hiker's meal. Something that Mom would serve. A nice, healthy, hearty chicken noodle soup. There you go. So there you have it. Another homemade hiker's meal that's very keto friendly and quite tasty to bring some more comfort food to the trail. Have you tried any of my recipes? What did you think? Did you make any changes to them? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions or comments, please leave a comment below or send me an email to trailnamemace@gmail.com. Please also remember to click the subscribe button and click that little bell so you can be notified anytime I come out with a new episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to visit trailnamemace.com to find links to products I've reviewed. Thanks for watching, and keep hiking!